What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Ubu, the tech guru, coming straight at you with episode 5 of the Linux Tech and Gaming Podcast. Welcome to the show. And unfortunately, today we right now only have Atomic in the show with us because Osiris is running late. Gosh damn it, Osiris! Why don't you say hello, Atomic?
Hello.
hello, hello, hello. You can hear the echo. All right, so how you been, Atomic, since we last talked last Wednesday, podcast?
Haven't been
Any
doing much at all, really.
Exciting gaming news to share besides the topics we're going to talk about?
Yes.
Your personal endeavors. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Dark Souls 1 and Borderlands 1, I've found both work in line very well.
Oh, that is interesting. Dark Souls 1? I don't even think I've never played that game, I don't believe. Dark Souls 1.
It's the perfect game for you.
Is it really?
Yes.
What is it? What kind of game is it? FPS? No, it's not.
It's a game where you die repeatedly.
Okay, it's an RPG experience?
Yes. Just go look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now. It says, this unique old-school action RPG experience captivated imaginations of gamers worldwide with incredible challenge and intense emotional reward. Well, that's for Dark Souls 2, the highly anticipated sequel. And actually, some information that I had gathered today while on a smoke break at work, actually about games coming to Linux in 2014, is actually one of our topics. Why don't this is a perfect segue into our first topic, or it's actually our last topic, but we'll talk about it first since most of the other topics were derived by Osiris. So, did you happen to see this article on gamingonlinux.com? Let me share this so the viewers can see what I'm looking at here. And it is an article about Linux games that are coming in 2014. And this is just it's not an exhaustive list, it's just a fraction. But what do I see here? But wait, Dark Souls. All right, so
it's Darksiders.
So I'm totally wrong. Don't listen to anything I'm saying. Bad segue going from talking about Dark Souls to Linux games coming in 2014 because Ubu is wrong. I mistook Darksiders for Darksiders. I mistook Dark Souls for Darksiders. So apparently they are not the same game, Atomic is telling me, and they clearly are not. So, but anyway, looking at this list, here's 20-plus games that are coming to Linux for 2014. Some of these, are clearly AAA titles like Borderlands, the pre-sequel, which we've already discussed, on the podcast previously. Civilization Beyond Earth. Looks like Chivalry. Is that a AAA title? Is Chivalry Medieval Warfare, is that the sequel to the original Chivalry? Do you know?
I seem to have heard of this game, but yeah, I'm kind of drawing a blank on it.
I've seen popular YouTubers talk about it and do videos of it where it almost looks like almost like a Team Fortress 2 open world, but where you just have like a sword and you go around and lopping your friends' heads off in like a sandbox type environment. So I'm not sure if this is like the sequel to the first Chivalry or not. I'd have to look a bit further.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I think that might just be the original title.
Okay, is that what you're seeing, or did you not? Or I'm not sure. Did you Google it?
I'm not looking it up now.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, yeah. So this might be the original Chivalry, and now it's just coming to Linux. But some of these other like Counter-Strike Global Offense. It says showing more signs of it being this year due to their recent blog post. Now, I don't know if that's considered a AAA title, but it is becoming very popular in the gaming live streaming scene because of the amount of attention that the live streams and the tournaments are getting on websites like Twitch are just the numbers are through the roof. I mean, you know, they take on and defeat like a popular primetime TV show. I mean, that's the type of numbers that these online tournaments are getting. Is the viewership is just gigantic. Let's see, Dead Island. Actually, I remember seeing Dead Island when it was first talked about, and I thought I saw it for console. It looked kind of cool, but I never ended up purchasing it for the Xbox 360. Looking down the list, I see possibly a favorite for you, Killing Floor 2.
Yep.
Right? I know you've actually introduced me to Killing Floor, and we've had plenty of fun times playing Killing Floor. It's a great game, and runs natively on Linux.
I don't know how they're going to improve on it. But,
well, you know, probably more maps and maybe even different missions or different, you know, maps and stuff.
They haven't stopped releasing maps for the first one.
Oh, okay.
Free, not DLC. Free map.
Yeah, free. Okay, yeah. And then, of course, we got the Metro redo for 2033 and Last Light. Those will be coming. And this is pretty shocking. Outlast. And his comment here is probably one of the scariest games ever made, and I will actually agree with the author of this article, which is, I believe, the owner of the website, Liam. I played Outlast, and I live streamed my experience playing Outlast, and yes, it is very, very scary. Scared the crap out of me, that's for sure. What are some other games on here that are,
Isaac?
Yeah, that's another popular one.
Now, I don't know if you know this, but the original Binding of Isaac, it was available for Linux in one of the Humble Bundles, but it hasn't been on Steam because of some issues with Steam policy. You have the original Binding of Isaac game, and then there's a DLC for it, Wrath of the Lamb. And the original game is not available for Linux, but the Wrath of the Lamb is available for Linux, and that's what was in the Humble Bundle. But you can't have the DLC on more platforms than the original game.
Oh, okay.
In Steam. So the Binding of Isaac hasn't been available for Linux on Steam.
All right.
But I think that's going to change with the Rebirth.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Let's see, what else do we got in here? Yeah, go ahead.
Then Transistor. This is actually a game that somebody asked me about in the Ubuntu forums. What's the game that it's like? Now I'm drawing a blank.
For which game? Sorry.
Transistor. It's like another game, and I think it might have been the same studio that made the other game, but I can't think of the name of it.
Let me Transistor.
Yeah, that's not going to get you much.
Well, Transistor on Steam. Yeah, that actually came up. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's a teen rating, mild language, and violence. From the creators of Bastion. Oh. It's a Super Giant Games game?
Yes, that's the one. Bastion.
Okay. In Bastion, I had a lot of fun playing. Man, that was a blast. And I'm actually still playing it.
Yeah.
Not quite so much anymore. I'm actually playing the Steam trailer right now on the live stream so everybody can see this. But anyway, so this is Transistor, and you're saying it's going to be coming to Linux. Currently, it is only is available for Windows for $19.99.
Yeah.
But
well, it's in the list, so.
Yep. You know, and let's see. Liam's point here was that well, another one we might as well talk about it since it was the other topic that I had posted was about Tropico 5. It's actually being released in a couple days. In 2 days, Tropico 5 will be released for Linux, and I had, let's see here, I had an article, open link. It was posted by the owner of, it was posted by Michael, the owner of Farinix, which is a very popular Linux, like Linux-oriented website for benchmarks and just articles and stuff. And so they're saying here that it's supposed to be released September 19th, like I said, for Linux and OS X. It's a, what is it, what kind of game? Have you ever played Tropico 5?
I have not played any of the games in the Tropico series, so.
All right. What type of game is it? Since I'm actually saying it's being released for Linux, it might be good to inform our listeners what, like, the goal of it is. I'm trying to see. So shared Blitzcrank 3. Why can I not find Tropico 5 information? There's.
I'm looking at the video on this this article.
Tropico 5 teaser.
Well, it's like an hour and 10-minute long video.
But no, this is a minute and 7 seconds. Hang on, I'll just play this real quick. All right, it shows a guy walking up to a globe. He's looking at the globe. He looks like a Castro type of character. Yep. He's holding the globe. He's kind of floating it around like it's a hacky
he's doing
sack.
the Charlie. He's doing the Charlie Chaplin bit.
Oh, yes, he is. Yep. Spinning it on his finger now. So I wonder if it's kind of like a game where you control what goes on in the world.
Yeah, it's looking that way from the video. It's kind of like a Sim City meets The Sims, somewhere in the middle kind of thing.
Sure. And then he just popped it.
Yeah. That scene is directly out of The Greatest Dictator, 1940 or 1941. Charlie Chaplin's first talkie.
Okay. I'm trying to see here. Why is it? I'm looking at the. This is like ridiculous. I'm looking at the wiki and it can't just tell me like the basis of the game. What the fuck, dude? Oh man, it's genre says construction and management simulation, political simulation. Okay, so there you go. Sorry it took me so long to get to the main the main point of the game, guys. We got, by the way, we do have 3 viewers. Atomic, unless you have it open on your computer.
I don't, but I should, so I can watch the chat.
Yeah, actually, I just noticed that too. Techie Rod's in here, and Agent is as well. What's up, Agent 181? And what's up, Techie Rod? Thank you for dropping into the podcast, guys. We're waiting on. We're not really waiting since we already started the show, but Osiris is running behind today, and so far we've been through 2 of our topics we wanted to discuss. Really, for those of you that are new to the podcast, you know, this is just it's a podcast for us to, you know, for those of us that enjoy Linux, you know, as our operating system, and enjoy gaming in Linux. Those are basically the main idea that we got together and created this podcast, was to just share with others our Linux gaming and technology experiences that we kind of go through, week to week. For those of you that aren't familiar, I'm Ubu the Tech Guru. I have a YouTube channel. Obviously, you're watching it on my YouTube channel right now, but I have a wide variety of videos from first-person shooters with commentary and tips and stuff in them, to videos on little tips for within Ubuntu, and other little technology type related videos. I've been pretty absent on uploading consistently lately with the gaming side, just because I've been taking care of some personal stuff. But I'm, now that we started up this podcast and I'm starting to get back into gaming more, I look forward to uploading some more YouTube content. But then we also have Atomic the Ass. That is his Twitter handle, is the Atomic Ass, and I will let you or let Atomic tell you about him and his channel.
Well, I do reviews of Linux games to see how well they run, what kind of hardware they'll run on, although I don't do that so much anymore, and the hardware part. And yeah.
What's that one series you got on your channel? What's it called?
Does it run on Linux?
Okay, yeah. And actually, I don't know if you saw in the podcast notes, did you see number 1 for ideas that Osiris wrote in there?
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of something.
You're trying to think of what?
I said I'm trying to think of something for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a good idea that, since you already do the does it play on Linux, or what, does it run on Linux? Since you already do that, you could possibly take that game that you ran that week, or whatever game you happen to might be running, and we could have a little segment each week of you specifically talking about the game. The things that you liked about it, the things that you didn't like about it. I think that would be a great addition to the show, besides the other topics that we gather throughout the week. Well, I mean, don't you think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So moving along to the next topic we have. Oh, and also this is our 5th episode, guys. And we're still pretty new to the podcast game. I do live stream, and when you live stream, it's all pretty much off the cuff, and you're just all about having fun. It's uncensored. It's live. It's right there. Whereas a podcast, I don't know. We are doing it live, and it's unscripted. We do have some topics that we like to cover. But so we're still kind of new to the podcasting, and the platform we're using right now is Google+. We're considering using other avenues. Maybe I would host it myself and use something like Skype, Skype conferencing to get us all together, and then I would stream a window of our video feeds and whatnot, and then do that on Twitch maybe. Or maybe we'll do it on Hitbox. We're not really, we're not nailed down to just doing it in Google Hangouts. It's just this is where we're starting because it's easiest and, it's convenient to do it this way. So hopefully, it's an acceptable quality for you guys, for the viewers. So just let us know, in the comments on the YouTubes. Let us know in the comments if there's anything you maybe have a question on, or if there's anything that you really wanted to know, and we'll try to answer it, the best we can, as far as that goes. So moving along to our next topic, it involves 4K, and I know that's been in the media a little bit lately. 4K, but Linux and 4K gaming using the open source Radeon driver, believe it or not. So again, we're going back to the Michael Larabelle is the author on Pharynix.com, and he did some Ultra HD, which is 4K, Linux graphics and gaming benchmarks using the AMD open source graphics driver. Now I will share this screen with you guys so you can see what I'm looking at. For those of you that aren't familiar with Pharynix, it's a great website for anyone that's interested in Linux, because it's, as you can see over here on the left, he's got display drivers, graphic cards, memory, motherboard, processors, software, storage, operating systems. He's got a whole, he does benchmarks of a lot of stuff, a lot of hardware in Linux. There's this an entire Pharynix software suite or benchmarking suite that ensures that tests are run, the same way every time, so that they're repeatable tests, they're repeatable benchmarks, and it's, I have it installed on my rig, and that's how I run a lot of my benchmarks. It's convenient because it has all these benchmarks together all in one, instead of having to separately install each benchmark like Unigine Valley or Unigine Heaven. Each single benchmark, and it's got benchmarking from everything from graphics performance to CPU, like compression tests or decompressing. It's got CPU testing, it's got memory testing, hard drive read and write performance. It's a great benchmark suite. I really enjoy it, and it is compatible with Windows and Linux. So it's a great piece of software if you have a friend that's got a Windows machine and you're trying to compare your hardware against his. You can both run the same exact test under the same exact variables, obviously, but different hardware, and compare your results. So that's just a little plug, I guess, for Michael Larabelle and Pharynix, because I do really enjoy the website. It's got some great information. But as always, you got to make sure that you take everything that you read with a grain of salt. There might be some bias leaning which way or the other, or maybe, I don't know, just take everything that you read with a grain of salt, I guess is what I'm saying. So looking at this 4K Linux gaming benchmarks, looks like he was using the Linux 3.17 development kernel and Mesa 10.4 from the development repository, or from the development tree, and which are what's providing the latest Radeon SI Gallium 3D driver. And it's actually powering the graphics card is an assortment of HD 7000s series graphics cards, and it's powering a Seiki 39-inch 4K TV, which the resolution is 3840 by 2140. And then also, let's see here, trying to run at 4K on Linux with the open source NVIDIA driver was also attempted, but it failed miserably. So this is kind of an interesting situation, because most times I always suggest NVIDIA, but that's when you're talking about proprietary graphics drivers. This benchmarks that he has here is of the open source graphics drivers, not the proprietary closed source ones. So this is comparing, or this is a benchmark of the AMD open source drivers. There you can see his 4K display, and here's the test bench system. It's got an i7-5960X at 3.5, 16 cores. He's got a Gigabit X99 UD4 CF motherboard. He's got, looks like it's 16 gig of memory. He's got let's see here. These are the various video cards that he ran in the test. Looks like an HD 7850, 1 gig card, a XFX 7950, 80/8950 OEM. Then
You mean I could I
Oh,
could
which
be
is the same
gaming
as
at
an
4.
R9 280. I
I could be
forget
gaming
that.
at 4K right now.
Which card do you have?
The 7850.
You have a Radeon 7850.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what the test results show. Yeah. He's got, like I said, it's running Ubuntu 14.10, which isn't even released yet, and he's running the latest, or this kernel 3.17. Then he shows you he's even running it in Unity, which is the desktop environment, Xserver 1.15, and blah, 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 the rest of the information for the test. So, when we look at the numbers, looks like one of the games he tested was Tesseract, and the fastest cards were the 7950 and the R9 270X, while the R9 290 is the fastest GPU of the bunch based on the hardware specs. With that particular kernel, there's still some apparent reclocking issues causing the R9 290 Hawaii graphics card to not perform optimally. So, like I said, you got to read each of these benchmarks with a grain of salt and read the comments that he has written, because you might look at this test and be like, whoa, why is the R9 290 only at 21 frames per second? Like, how in the world can an R9 270X beat an R9 290? Well, he specifically stated there's obviously some kind of reclocking issue or some issue in the mainline kernel or with the OpenGL acceleration that's causing, the later Hawaii graphics card to not perform correctly. So then looking at the numbers for Warsaw, I don't know how you pronounce that. It's like a first-person shooter game, like Capture the Flag type game. But you can see, these frames per second are insane on a 4K display. Are you seeing these numbers, Osiris? Atomic? This is crazy. 70.
I'm seeing 82 frames per second on my card.
on a 3840 by 2160 display with an open source driver. You think that's wrong? Or what? This game, obviously, we need to take it again, look at the game we're running here. Warsaw is probably not, very intense graphical game. Here's Exonatic, which is, what's the other game that it used to be called?
I don't know what it was before.
Okay, I have to look that up real quick.
But I can tell you that Half-Life 2 is only consuming about 30% of my GPU capacity at 1080p, all the settings maxed. So I would get just slightly less than 60 frames a second in it at 4K. Okay,
yeah. And for those of you that are wondering, it's Nexius that is very similar. Like Exonatic, I think was the base code of Exonatic was taken, and then Nexius was made and actually released on the Xbox 360. I think. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not even watching the comments. Is anybody else watching the comments?
I am.
All right, cool. So looking at these numbers here, you see that again, look at the huge disparity between the R9 270X and the better card, the R9 290. That's a 70 frames per second difference. So obviously, clearly something in about the R9 290, and the combination of the kernel and the open source driver and whatnot, something about that just obviously isn't good. So let's see. If we go to page 4, did he run? There, he ran Unigine Tropics at 4K, and there you go. You could run Unigine Tropics. You should actually run this test. Can you? What's the latest you can get in Arch for your HD 7850, or do you even have the 7850 still installed on your Arch system?
The 7850 is not installed in my Arch system. No, it's installed in my Windows system.
Oh, okay. But looking at these numbers here, Unigen Tropics, obviously you guys are familiar with Unigen benchmarking, library, whatever, where there's Heaven, there's Valley, there's Tropics, there's, a whole bunch of different ones. And wait a second. Lost video on the stream.
Yeah, it's been stuck from my point of view here.
Oh shit, I see that now. I was sharing my screen. Oh, you know what? No, it's because I'm sharing my screen and I went to I went to the video. That's my fault. Sorry guys. I was sharing my screen and then I went to the YouTube video of the live stream to watch the comments, so that's what you were seeing. So
no.
Really?
From my view, it's just showing my avatar. It's not even switching to you. I'm not even really sure if the video is live for me or not.
Well, here, I just switched it to me. It was clicked on you, so it wasn't even showing the screen, the sharing?
It doesn't look like it. I'm getting the audio, but no video.
Well, I just switched the camera to me. I don't understand this. Present to everyone? Present to everyone. You are presenting to everyone. Like, I don't understand. Huh. Well, I thought I was using Google Hangouts because it was easier to use. Wait, there we go. Now it's showing my face. So I don't really understand this Google Plus. I thought I had it figured out last week when I was sharing my screen and stuff, and the video was updating. But now it doesn't appear to be auto-switching and showing you guys correctly who's talking, so I apologize, guys. So I'm a total noob in podcasting, so you're going to have to forgive me.
You know what the weird thing is?
But thank you for pointing it out, Techie Rod, in my Twitter feed to try to make it secret. I do appreciate it, though. What were you going to say?
On the stream, your face looks nice and smooth. It has a high frame rate. But then in the Hangout window, it's like 2 or 3 frames a second. Very jerky.
For you.
Yeah.
Right. Probably just because it's sending the best broadcast amount of bandwidth to the YouTube server so that can be displayed to everybody, and it's probably not using much bandwidth to send the video feed to you because they don't think that that's that important. I'm guessing. They're sending the majority of the bandwidth to YouTube. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know. I could be wrong. So now that I'm kind of all mixed up and everything, we were talking about, let's see if the share works again. If I click on here and I share this, sharing these benchmarks again of 4K gaming, the last test that he had done was of the Unigen Tropics, and you can see that any of the benchmarks from Unigen are going to drop any card to its knees and pretty much put it through its paces. So you can see here, at 4K, you're looking at about 30, 35, 36 frames a second for the 7950, and something's clearly wrong with the R9 290 at 10 frames a second. That's not acceptable. I mean, there's obviously something wrong with the code. Now, what's confusing to me is, does the R9 270X have the same GPU core as an R9 290?
You mean, is it a Hawaii?
Yes. That's what I mean.
I would believe so, but I might be wrong because there are some in the R series that are holdovers from the 7000 series that haven't
Okay.
been architecturally updated.
Right. Like the 280 is the same as the 7850? Or no?
No, those are two different classes.
Well,
I
if you
think
look at
it's
his, look at the, on page 2, if you look here, he has, I'm sorry, he has HD 7950 slash 8950 OEM and then slash R9 280. So is he virtually saying those are the same cards? A
they,
7950 is the same as an R9 280?
that sounds about right.
Okay.
But the 7850 is a much lower end card.
The 7850 is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And from what I learned the other day, because I was asking why I have an HD 7770 Black Edition, why that thing was such crap, and somebody explained to me that they had 3 performance levels when doing the 7000 series cards. 77 was the lowest of the low, and then there was the 7800 series, and then the 7900 series. So the 7770. I'm thinking, 7770, it's awesome, it's got to be great. I got it for free. I'm not complaining, at all. I got it for free from a follower of mine on Twitter. He is having DirectX issues with it. Actually, let me grab the box. He was having DirectX issues with it and knew that I ran Linux. And for those of you that don't know, Linux does not use DirectX in its games. It uses OpenGL. So he sent me this XFX R, and you guys can't see it because, again, I'm sharing my screen. All right, so he sent me this this XFX R7770 Black Edition overclocked. Looks like it's a 1 gig DDR5 card, but for getting it for free, I was I was thrilled with this thing. This actually says it can do 4K.
Yeah, it might be able to drive a monitor at 4K, but it's not gonna.
It's funny. It says here It says 4096 by 2160 stereoscopic 3D gaming is what it says. It's future-proof HD 4K video support.
My ass.
So I believe it. If it says it on the box, I believe it. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway,
that card might be useful for watching a 4K movie. That's about it.
Yeah.
But does that have
if I have it in here? Yeah, I do.
Does it have DisplayPort on
it? It does have DisplayPort.
Does it say a version?
Sure. It's got. I'm trying to hold it up here and look for you. It's got a DisplayPort. 1.2.
Yeah, that would do 4K, I think.
Yeah, it says 4K ready. HDMI 1.4A and 4K ready DisplayPort 1.2. Max resolution 4096 by 2160. I mean, so I was shocked when he was like, "Here, I'll send you this card for free." And I did have, actually, I do recall having a few little weird glitches with it. Like one time it crashed in Metro Last Light, and it was right before I ended up building my current rig, which has the GTX 760 in it. So when I swapped systems, I took the graphics card out because my old AMD system is just basically a server right now, so I didn't need, I didn't have room to put it in there for one thing because I'm using all the PCI slots because it's got TV tuners in it, and it acts as a home-built DVR system from Myth TV is the software. But so So that's kind of interesting to see that about the the 4K gaming with open source drivers on AMD's side. That's it's kind of cool in a sense, but again, we do have to take into account the tests that he ran. It's like he ran it with Exonetic, which is like Nexius. Then he ran it with the Tesseract, which I don't even know what kind of game that is. Have you ever heard of Tesseract?
No.
Me neither. And then he ran it with Warsaw, whatever.
Whoa, Cyrus is here. Why don't we try and get him in?
All right. Well, apparently Osiris is here, so he just messaged me, just got home now. And you know what? That's actually perfect timing because we just went through my last topic that I had come up with. The other 3 topics he actually came up with.
Yeah.
How many viewers are we at? We actually dropped viewers. We had 7, now we have 5. That's all right. Thank you again for to those of you that came to the live stream, to the podcast. I appreciate it. Were there any questions in the chat so far that need to be answered, Atomic?
No.
All right.
But going back to the list of Linux games that are coming out this year, at the very bottom of the list is Wasteland 2, and I had never played the original Wasteland. I hadn't even heard of it until I saw the Kickstarter for this game. And this must be a very, very popular game because the Kickstarter went to $3 million out of a $900,000 goal.
Whoa, so it tripled its goal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is for a game that came out in 1988.
Whoa. The original Wasteland. Yeah, I'm seeing that now. Here, I'll share this with everybody so you can see what I'm looking at. It says Wasteland 2 is the sequel to 1988's Wasteland, developed by In Exile and funded by the fans. It says Adventure in Post-Nuclear America. So is it kind of like a Fallout type game?
I honestly don't know.
Holy cow. Early access beta is now available on Steam. $60. Wait.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's a little expensive. $60 for an early access beta. Let's see. It was originally an RPG game.
Yes.
Picking up a lot of background noise, Osiris.
Still picking up background noise?
Yeah, horribly.
Sure. Oh, I know why. I probably picked up the wrong mic. Hold on.
Osiris with his 5 mics he has.
What about now?
There you go. Perfect. Yep, whatever you did, that's it. Or
Yeah.
that's good.
For some reason, it defaulted to my camera mic. That camera mic.
Are you in Linux or Windows?
Linux.
All right, you better. That's the right answer, buddy. You don't boot into Windows on a Linux podcast. I mean,
Heresy.
come on now. All right, so everybody welcome Osiris Tech to the podcast. He's coming late, but at least he's here.
What?
Well,
What's
tell
up,
us about
what's up?
yourself, Osiris.
Let's see. I am Osiris.
Are you doing video? Are you doing video this time or no? You can.
I don't have my light set up. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Well, that's up to you. Whatever. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
It's probably dark.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to put
Yeah,
video
it's
on.
dark. I have to find my
Oh,
light.
yeah. A little dark. Yep. That's all right. So go ahead, continue on. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yep. I'm Osiris PC Pimp. I do PC things. Network by trade and PC system builder on the side, and Linux advocate, of course. Of course.
All right, boom. And you got a YouTube channel, of course,
Yep.
and a Twitter. Those links are down in the description, guys. If you're unfamiliar with any of us, all of the links should be down below in the YouTube description. And you couldn't have come at a better time, Osiris, because I just ran out of, or I went through my 3 topics that I added to the topic list. So we are at, we're pretty much, you can start at 1 or start at 4, but we need to cover items 1 through 4.
Actually, I put 1 up there for you and Atomic because I have no idea or nothing. I know nothing about Minecraft.
Okay, actually, let's let Atomic. Atomic's always too quiet. Let's let Atomic talk about topic number 1. Go ahead, Atomic, shoot.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to give up Minecraft.
It's not that bad, is it?
Well, it is Microsoft.
Yes, this is true.
All right, well, tell the stream what we're talking about here, Atomic. What's the topic?
Microsoft buys Minecraft for $2.5 billion.
That's billion with a B.
Jeez. Yeah, B as in Bravo. Billion. Put the little finger next to your mouth like, what's his name? Michael Myers? Or whatever his name is.
Michael Myers.
Isn't that his real name in real life? Mike Myers.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
But
well, that's not him, but it's from that movie where the guy puts his finger to his mouth. What's that, Dr. Evil? Or I don't even know.
I don't know.
I can't quote the movie, even though I know so many friends of mine that can like quote movies off the top of their head and everything, and same with music. Me, when it comes to shit like that, dude, I can't retain anything like movie quotes or song lyrics, nothing. But when it comes down to like technology type stuff, I can spit that right off the top of my head. All right, but anyway, back on topic. Go ahead, Atomic. Talk about the travesty that has occurred.
Well, obviously, the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to become an Xbox exclusive. Complete bullshit, of course.
You think so?
No, I'm bullshitting.
Yeah, I was going to say. Something I did see someone tweeted out that was hilarious was that Microsoft was going to release different versions of Minecraft. So they had this picture in the Twitter post that showed like Minecraft beginner, and then it showed Steve with like a little bit of dirt next to him. Then it was like Minecraft, professional, and then it showed Steve with like some red what's it called, what you make circuits with. And it basically showed like 5 different versions of Minecraft, and like the best one was like Minecraft Ultimate, and it showed Steve with like diamonds. I thought it was kind of a funny joke, because how Microsoft always is with their shit. It's like minimum, medium, and best. With their freaking just like they have with Windows 7. They have like beginner, professional, home edition, ultimate. All.
I have a theory. I'm pretty sure they'll do this. So what they're going to do is they're going to leave Mahjong pretty much intact, because you don't buy something like Mahjong and then completely tear it down. What you do is you get Mahjong and the IP. You want the IP because that's what's worth the money, and they're going to have exclusives on Microsoft, I bet you. And not only they're going to have exclusives, but they're going to have microtransactions for the game somehow. That's my theory.
For only 99 cents, you too can have a complete stack of diamonds.
Right? That sounds like Microsoft, though. In the gaming world, at least.
Check out, here's the picture that I was trying to I was trying to describe. I'm actually showing it to the live stream right now. I'll send it to you guys in the chat.
I can see it.
It's really funny. Minecraft Starter, Minecraft Home Basic, Minecraft Home Premium, Minecraft Professional, Minecraft Ultimate.
What
Wait a
happens?
minute,
That's exactly something that Microsoft would do.
They already have coal in starter?
They what?
They already have coal in starter? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, right. But so to talk about this topic, I mean, it is kind of, I don't know. Many people are saying on one hand, it's like, whoa, why is Microsoft buying this when they've already sold 40 million copies of Minecraft? Like, the money's already been sold and made, or the money's already there. But when you look at Minecraft from the perspective of its overall whole picture with the marketing, the whatever you call merchandise, Minecraft merchandise, which has just exploded. Like, you go into a Kohl's or a JC's Penney's now, and you're freaking seeing a gaming shirt right on the rack. And I mean, that's kind of crazy. Minecraft is so big, and you look at these big servers. Like, I don't want to advertise them because I don't like some of these people, but I'll just say one of them. Like, for example, what's his name? Woodycraft comes to mind. Woody's gamer tag started. He was a COD commentator on YouTube and made it big. And then all of a sudden, when the Minecraft server hosting started booming, he jumped ship from COD commentary and started hosting a Minecraft server. And now, he's got kids that pay $50 to get a diamond pickaxe in Woodycraft. So he makes just gobs and gobs of money. He probably can't even figure out where to put it. He makes so much money from woodycraft.net. Because these people are psycho about Minecraft. They'll spend money on these PvP Minecraft servers, there's all sorts of weird games that people come up with inside of Minecraft. Like, I guess, Woodycraft has this jail type environment where you actually you can make drugs and then sell them out in the yard, but you can get shivved in the yard. And it's crazy. Like, some of these internal games that people have come up with inside of the game Minecraft, I think Microsoft is going to start laying down the law and be like, all right, you run woodycraft.net. Okay, well, you want to continue what you're doing, you're going to have to pay Microsoft X amount a month to continue doing that. I think that's how it's going to come.
I don't believe that's going to be their focus, because that would require more money and more effort and more time. I think they want it simply for the intellectual property and how they can market the Xbox, because you got to remember the Xbox is not the success that Microsoft wants it to be. They're trying to round out their intellectual property titles on that system so that they can put dents in the Wii U and the Sony PlayStation's market share. That's what I think it's for. I don't think they give two rats' asses about the PC gamers. Since it's already there, I think they'll just leave them alone for now. Now, if you see any updates, I doubt that also. The updates will probably come slower and slower and slower. And that's going off of historical activity from Microsoft.
Well, look what they gobbled up. What are some of the other acquisitions that they've made and turned out to be failures?
Skype.
Yeah, they bought up Skype. Okay.
They did the exact same thing with Skype. They bought Skype. They didn't really do too much to it. They left the technology intact, but they wanted to own it so it can be part of the Microsoft ecosystem, and they could say they have that feature. But that also meant that all the people who had plugins and like third-party software that used the Skype API, they pretty much cut that off, and that also includes Linux, because if you notice, there is no parity between Skype on Windows and Skype on Linux. Skype on Linux is complete garbage.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Well, what else do you got to say? Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the main developer and how he decided to is leaving.
Well, there's sort of a controversy around that because Mahjong, who is a man of principle, pretty much is anti big corporation,
Right.
pro indie. He's got all these like huge like principles about him, and people are saying like the internet is all up in the roar about how he's selling out, basically. I mean, I'm not familiar with Minecraft or Mahjong, but that's the controversy. I think he's just had enough of Minecraft personally, and plus he hasn't really even been involved with Minecraft for a while.
I read a couple little tidbits here and there, and did note that he said that Minecraft was just consuming him, personally. It became bigger than he had ever imagined, and he just couldn't take all of the publicity, and it was just too much. He said that he often tried to work on smaller projects, but Minecraft always just kind of pulled him back in since he was, one of the original game developers. And I think, now that a big corporation like this is buying it, he's actually leaving because he's kind of had enough of Minecraft. That's what I think it boils down to.
Yeah, I can see that. You could tell that, and he was expressing that fact for years now. And now with the capital that he made off of it, he can pretty much start. He doesn't have to go through the trials and tribulations that he did to start Minecraft on another game.
Right.
He could start another game with capital now.
Yep, exactly.
I wouldn't expect a great game. I've seen his ideas; they're not that good. I think Minecraft is a complete fluke.
Really? What?
It is profitable.
It is profitable, but let's be honest. If somebody had told you 5 years ago that I'm going to make an 8-bit looking game where you just run around like a child and dig stuff and build stuff, people would be like, "What? That sounds stupid." It's not a mainstream game. It's not a mainstream idea. It's a one hit in a million. And now everybody's copying it, and all those suck. None of those are successful. I think Mahjong just stumbled onto something. And it won't happen again. He's not like some great guru game developer, in my opinion. Well, he is great at what he does. I'm not gonna take that away. Like, his skills are good, but I don't think he's not making the next Metro Last Light.
Right, I hear you. I mean, I see what you're saying in respect to how, Minecraft being an 8-bit game, it's not really graphics driven, but I don't think you're really giving enough credit to the game itself. I don't think you've ever tried it. Have you ever tried it?
No, I'm not taking away from the credit. What I'm saying, the game is great.
You said the game is a fluke.
The game is a fluke because the idea of the game is a fluke. There's nothing wrong with the game itself. The actions of the game, how you play the game, it's a great game. He put together a great concept within his idea. But the idea is a fluke, and you can't sell that idea again. It happened once. It only happened once.
Okay, I mean, I guess I see what you're saying there. I see what you're getting at.
That makes nothing against the game. The game's great.
Clearly, it is a successful game.
Yeah, exactly.
That can't be argued, right? I mean, and the only reason, or I shouldn't say the only, but one of the reasons it took off as it did is from YouTube. That's from the little bit of reading that I saw was that people started doing YouTube videos of it that had quarter million subscribers or 500,000 subscribers. And when someone like that is playing a game and showing interest in it, of course all of his viewers are going to want to check out that game, and boom, I mean, this thing exploded overnight. Well, and now look at it. Like I said, the merchandise aspect of it, it's just gigantic.
By the time C-Nanners got a hold of it, it already had a slow roll to it. Like, it was already gathering that momentum. I think the publicity of YouTube gave it that extra push into the limelight. But Mahjong was making a good deal of money just off that.
Yeah, gotcha. Atomic, do you have anything else to add? I mean, you've still been too quiet, man. Come on, speak up.
No, I don't have much to add to that.
He's our local
What?
Minecraft. You're the local Minecraft. What is it? Expert.
Guru. Yeah. I mean, I remember my stepdaughter kind of got me into Minecraft, and I was playing it, and then I mentioned it to Atomic, and he's like, nah, and I was the same way before I had tried it. I was like, what do you mean? You dig and you build a little square hut. What's the big deal? But I mean, when I got into it, and I kind of lost a little bit of interest to it, I will admit. But for a while there, I mean, it was really, it really it intrigued me. The game, it pulled me in. I had a lot of fun out of it. And Atomic, you didn't think you'd enjoy it at first either. And look at you now. You have a huge, awesome structures in UbuCraft. For those of you that aren't familiar, I do have my own personal Minecraft server that I host for my close friends. Atomic is one of the users on there. Probably the only one in main user that's on there, but there's also a few other friends like Swoop, a gamer girl. I don't know how often they're on it, but one of Swoop's friends, Nick. But so yeah, Atomic is probably he has some great videos on his YouTube channel that I hope if any of you guys are into Minecraft, I'd really appreciate it if you went over to Atomic's YouTube channel and checked out some of his Minecraft builds that he's done, because he's worked really hard on a lot of structures, a lot of great creativity, took place or is taking place on UbuCraft, and he's the sole creator, pretty much, of a lot of great work that's on UbuCraft. I'll give him that.
Word.
All right. So let's see here. Go ahead with the. Are there any? Let's see. Is there any comments? Oh, we got Gabe Newell. He's back.
Yes.
What's up, Gabe?
The owner and creator of Valve is with us.
Yeah. We got Duggan Redhammer. What's up, Duggan Redhammer? Thank you for dropping into the stream. We actually have 7 viewers. That's cool. It's the most I think we've ever had in our podcast. So why don't we go with the next topic? Is go ahead, Osiris. I think that's you.
All right, so I just stumbled across this. I don't know what the impact of this game is, but there's a new game coming out for Linux, Edge of Eternity, which is a JRPG, which is something that not only doesn't get a lot of love on Linux, but really doesn't get a lot of love lately at all, which I actually like, especially from the old school days. And it looks pretty good, too. It looks Final Fantasy-ish, but updated. Well, I haven't played the latest one, so I don't know. But it looks very Final Fantasy-ish. I think it's worth some people's attention if you're into JRPGs, story-driven games, that type of stuff. Edge of Eternity.
Edge of Eternity here. Okay, I'll share the screen here, and I went to the article here. It's hosted on Root Gamer. For those of you that aren't familiar with, rootgamer.com is a Linux, gaming-centric website that they actually approached me to write articles for them, and I wrote one and then never heard anything back. I think there had a little bit of something going on with their staff there. I think had some personal issues come up. So I think the person I sent the article to, never followed back up with me because I'm not sure. But it doesn't matter. Rootgamer.com is a decent website for Linux gaming information. I guess I just want to point that out. So here, Osiris found this new game. It's by Midgar Studios. It's called Edge of Eternity. You can see some of these screenshots here. You said it kind of reminds you of what type of game? Like Skyrim? Or what did you say?
It's Final Fantasy is also, I guess, a JRPG, you can say.
Okay, Final Fantasy. All right.
So if you're into that type of game, I hope this is similar for its sake. It'd be good to be like Final Fantasy. And it's coming to Linux, which makes it even better. JRPGs is a subgenre that really doesn't get a lot of focus or a lot of titles as of lately. or like within the last 5, 10 years, really. And I think there's still a large crowd of people who still enjoy JRPGs, like I do.
What? And you're gonna have to forgive me, but I don't know what a JRPG is.
A Japanese role-playing game, basically, and
Oh, okay, Japanese role-playing game.
yeah, so like Final Fantasy, Japanese role-playing games differ from American role-playing games. Is they're usually much more story-driven than action-driven, and the artistic styling is their own.
Like superb. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
I don't know if I call it superb, but it's their own, and it's
okay.
usually, and you know, you get the typical Asian type stuff like super skinny women and disproportionate bodies, and the artistic work is like Dragon Ball Z-ish type, like spiky hair, etc., etc.
Okay.
I mean, I'm generalizing, of course.
Well, yeah, I understand. Yep.
But that's awesome. I like to see this come to Linux.
Just the fact that it's a JRPG means it's on my wish list.
Yeah, yeah. See, I don't think a lot of people understand there's still big JRPG fans out there.
Well, like I said, I don't even know, never even heard of a JRPG, so that's totally new to me.
You didn't own a Nintendo?
Yeah, of course I own a Nintendo.
That's like, well, at least
what game was considered a JRPG on Nintendo?
Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger.
Never played any of those.
Oh, you missed
I was
out.
I was like a Mario, a Mario player, a Duck Hunt, Excite Bike. I don't remember what some of the. I was more of like the kind of wrestling. I remember a couple wrestling games. Obviously Tecmo Bowl. I wasn't if the game, I was I'm the kind of gamer. I mean, I'll admit this. I'm the kind of gamer that really doesn't venture off the path. You know what I mean? Like I'm mainstream. Like you hear mainstream gamer like that's pretty much interested in pretty narrow. I admit I'm narrow-minded, and some of these games I would have never tried if you or Atomic have never suggested them to me. Because I used to just play Call of Duty and that's it. First-person shooters and that was it. Crisis 3, Call of Duty, Battlefield.
I don't blame you for that.
I didn't. It's pretty much. I think
that's a symptom of console
every gamer. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, it is kind of a symptom.
Because when you're paying $60 a game, you don't just run out and buy
any game, right?
Yeah, tons of games.
Yep.
You buy, and especially that's not only a result of console gaming; it's a result of modern console gaming because of networking. You buy what your friends buy and what's popular.
Yeah.
But when I had the Nintendo, I was I was younger. We'll say that. And so my mom, also who is a tech nerd from the old school days, was also buying these games for herself, and so my sample list of games became wider because of that. But like Final Fantasy is a must play. Like Final Fantasy, some say 3, but I say 7. And then some will say I think 10, but I don't know about that. But I think 7 is definitely a must play in anybody's catalog. You can usually get that on the emulator pretty easily. I'm not gonna tell you how to because there's legal stuffs.
Right,
but
you have to get the ROM legally.
Yeah, but
you an emulator.
You can go figure it out.
Right.
This is great. Like Atomic said, just for the fact that it's a JRPG puts it on the wish list of me and him and probably lots of other people.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, obviously, any Linux game is great, but if it's a game genre that is kind of sadly dying, then this is great for people that enjoy JRPGs. I definitely agree with you there. All right, and then we got looks like one more topic, two more topics. Excuse me. So let's see. Next one is GLX OSD is a Riva tuner-ish OpenGL on-screen display. And I will let Osiris tell you guys all about it since he's the one that looked into it.
Yeah, so if you've ever played on Windows, you already know about the tons and tons of on-screen display statistic type of tools that are out there, like Fraps, I don't know, Riva Tuner, MSI Afterburner. There's tons of them, but on Linux, there's like none of them. So I found something called GLX OSD, which basically takes what was it called? P sensor, the information that's in your P sensor, and on-screen displays that onto your game, including the frames per second, though, because it is a OpenGL hook type of software, so it does actually hook into the OpenGL frame buffer. And I guess it didn't. I tried it, and it didn't work for me. Now I don't know how much of that has to do with the AMD drivers and AMD issues. I need to look into it a little bit further, and when I do find out what the issue was or find out how to get it working perfectly, I'll probably make a video on it. But this is, if somebody else is looking for a Windows-like on-screen display for gaming, I think this is it. This is by far the best I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I can comment on this just because I did a YouTube video on a similar type of software that was actually written by Valve, and it's called VOGL Perf, and you can install that, and it will display the frames per second in the upper left corner, but it does not display all this other information, like the graphics card adapter, you know. And then it says here, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card with the proprietary drivers, it'll also show you the temperature of your GPU, which is very helpful information as well. So this GLX OSD on-screen display looks like it also shows you your temperature of one of your motherboard sensors, and then also each of your core of your CPU's temperature as well.
All that's dependent on your chipset because it's pulling it all from LM sensors. So you might not get the exact same thing, but it is it's also configurable. So if you don't want all that like statistical noise, we'll say, all that extra information, it can be added and removed through a config file.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
It says here you can compile the latest GLX OSD from source on any distro, but it will not have multi-architectural support. You may have to adjust some paths. The latest GLX OSD for Ubuntu 14.04 is available through a Launchpad PPA. A PPA is a personal package archive. That's where you can store, Ubuntu or store software. And then also there is an older version of GLX OSD without Steam support for Ubuntu 12.04, 12.10, 13.04, and 13.10, available through a Launchpad PPA as well. But it does also state here that it's important that you understand that there is a risk that some anti-cheating software might see this OpenGL hook as a cheat, and you might get banned or blacklisted, because it thinks that this OpenGL hook is a cheat. So it is something that you should be just aware of, that it is possible, that you should be aware that this does happen, just so you guys know. It can happen, I should say. So this, for example, the Valve anti-cheat seems to operate on a blacklist rather than a whitelist, and doesn't seem to ban people who use applications that function similar to GLX OSD. For example, Mumble Overlay and Riva Tuner OSD. But there is a risk of it happening, of some anti-cheat software, seeing the GL hook as some type of hack or something. So that's like Osiris said, if he gets it working with his AMD card, he's got an R9 290. He said he'll do a video, so you guys can look forward to that.
290X.
Whoa! I'm sorry.
You gotta get it right.
Get that right. It's an R9 290X.
You shrunk my E-ping just a little bit.
Right? I did. Sorry about that.
No, you gotta give him his extra 256 shader units.
Right. I don't even know what they do. I'll be honest with you.
It's the same thing as a core and a CPU.
Yeah, I figure, but and I like to have that little X. How many people actually have a 290X? Just makes me feel so good.
Right, I hear you. And didn't you actually won it, didn't you?
Yeah, from Asus Republic of Gamers Facebook page.
Man, I don't know anybody else that's won something of that magnitude. That's so cool that it's you that you actually won an R9 290X.
I wouldn't even have seen it if Techie Rod had pointed it out. He visited the page and saw my name on it. I was like, you're lying. Nobody wins that type of stuff. But quick side note. So I went back and did some of those. Remember we were having a discussion about the validity of Phoronix's benchmarks.
Yes.
I went back and did those tests, but I used his Phoronix benchmarks instead of just my own downloaded ones, and my results seem to jive with his results, and on top of that, my 290X actually out benchmarks on Linux than it does on Windows. Not by like a margin of error type of number. We're talking about a noticeable number.
It does what? I'm sorry. What does out benchmarks mean?
It outperforms on Linux significantly on the Catalyst drivers on Linux than it does on Windows.
All right.
But now, obviously, anybody who knows benchmarks don't equate to game experience.
Right.
But the performance is there to be built upon.
Sure, that makes sense. Yep.
So that's awesome. Great news for AMD Catalyst users. Well, at least for the Hawaii chipsets. I don't know how that like equates down to the Tahiti and all that other stuff.
Well, and you missed it. You were gone at your appointment, but I actually was. Let's touch back a little bit on this article about the 4K gaming and Linux open source AMD drivers. You'll be shocked at this, Osiris, because based on what you just said, is contrary. I mean, does the 290 and the 290X share the same Hawaii GPU?
Yes, the 290 and the 290X are the same thing, but with less shaders.
Okay, well, check this out. The article that I linked on the 4K gaming for the open source AMD driver. Now this is the open source driver. This is not the Catalyst driver that Osiris was just talking about. So maybe this has something to do with it. Well, it does have something to do with it. This just goes to show that the open source driver is not. See what's weird? Does the R9 270X have a Hawaii core as well?
No.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay.
From the R9 series, the 290 and the 290X was the only card that got the next generation core.
Okay.
The other one shared the same core as the 7000 series.
Okay, this makes sense then, because if you look on, I don't know if you clicked on that link yet.
Yeah, I have.
For the 4K, okay, then go to page 3, and you can clearly see something's up, because his R9 290 numbers are the lowest out of all the cards. So clearly there's something wrong with the Hawaii GPU and the combination of his kernel and the open source driver that he was using. That's why so there's an issue there, obviously, with that specific GPU.
I can tell you exactly what the issue is. Open source drivers never keep up with the very latest chips.
Right, so it hasn't been optimized to utilize that Hawaii GPU correctly yet. Right. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. That's always going to be an issue with open source drivers, as long as they have to hack it backwards hack it or whatever.
Yep. Reverse engineer it. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for this week's episode of Linux Tech and Gaming. That was episode 5. We had went through about 7 topics, and Osiris, Atomic, and I did chat, and Atomic is game for one portion of the show will be dedicated to Atomic talking about a particular Linux game that he's going to try out, and he can tell us the pluses and the negatives of that game. I told him it could even be the same game. If it's from his Does It Run on Linux series, he could take any one of those videos from there and talk about it on the show if he's already got it up, just because, it'll be information to our viewers no matter what, you know what I mean? So Atomic's game for doing that. All right. Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Osiris dropped out or something? I don't know what's going on.
The whole call is kind of phasing
Choppy?
in and out.
Oh, is it? All right. Well, I know Atomic has network issues here and there, and he's been dropping out of my TeamSpeak once in a while because of his network, because of Time Warner Cable. So that's going to do it for this week, guys, of Linux Tech and Gaming. I appreciate everybody for stopping into the show. Check out each of our YouTubes down below in the description. Follow us on Twitter to get up to date on what's going on with us. And that's about all I got from me. I see Gabe Newell wants us to have Joker Productions on the stream. I will look into that, Gabe. Thank you for the comment. And Atomic, do you have anything to add?
Nope, not really.
Okay, it looks like Osiris is in the chat. He put Ba, so I'm guessing his network is being a biatch right now. Well, so that's going to do it for this week of the Linux Tech and Gaming Podcast. Thank you guys, and we will see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if anybody is interested, I'm going to be live streaming my continued gameplay of Rust. Actually, Osiris has been playing with me. Techie Rod's been playing with me. I'm going to jump on some Rust. It does run natively in Linux, and it's kind of a survival game with no zombies. And we are in a PvP server, so you can get murdered at any time. That'll be over on. I'll do it on Twitch, just because I seem to be having success with Twitch lately. So it'll be twitch.tv/UbuntuAddicted if you want to check me out playing some Rust. That's about it for this week. So we'll see you next Wednesday. Later, guys.